Former gamers of Reddit, what was the reason you stopped playing video games altogether, or a lot less frequently? I stopped when I realized the ratio feeling of joy and accomplishment / time investment of video game was far inferior to the one of my other hobbies. This so much. I used to game at least 3 to 4 hours per day, but after living abroad for 6 months I realized I only gamed because I had nothing else to do which gave me satisfaction. I also can't game in moderation. When I like a game it has to completely takes over my life, which is a pretty unhealthy habit. I guess I finally discovered how much real life actually has to offer. I will still game occasionally for the rest of my life, but gaming maybe a few hours a week will keep it fresh and fun. It might also just be that my interests have changed, but when I play a game too much I just get depressed. Nowadays this can't be life. I'm just wasting my limited time here on earth by doing this. Gaming often started feeling like a chore and like work, especially because I was so into MMOs. Mostly a lack of mental energy. I find it on my day off from work and chores and errands and etc. I don't want to do stuff that engages that much of my brain. I might just have to get into dumber games. I tend to enjoy the resource management / puzzle / open world type games that make you juggle a lot of info for crafting and which way to proceed. Minecraft. 29 years old here, just started playing it. Can't believe I never tried long enough to play it and enjoy it over the years. Ah yes, where 10 years of my life has been spent building weird stuff and or towns. I started drawing and couldn't spend 12 hours a day staring at my laptop anymore. It was too tiring. I want to take illustration really seriously, but I spend 75% of my time sleeping, working, or at school, and the other 25% I spend playing video games to escape how shitty it all is. Maybe your comment will give me some motivation to cut back on gaming, to do something I've always dreamed of doing. Hey, I'm basically on that boat too. I recommend getting small A6 pocketbook and a pen and just sketch whenever you can. Also stop feeling unmotivated because you aren't good enough and can't be proud of your current art. It's practice. If you stop you'll never reach the point where you can be proud. For me, there were two things. The communities I was a part of grew increasingly toxic, but gaming alone isn't as fun. I found other hobbies that took more time. I still game, but I'm pickier about what I'll put my money into, and I find I'd rather revisit old games than take a chance on some of the crap coming out. I discovered a love for hiking, and it's considerably better for my mental and physical health, and more of my free hours on weekends goes to that now, but I still typically find a few hours during the week to chill with the like, 4 people that I'm still pals with online to play games. I recently quit CS:GO, over 3,000 hours, for the same reason I've quit other lifestyle games such as Overwatch, Rocket League, Rainbow Six Siege. They consume way too much of my free time. I would come in from work and can spend hours on end playing them without really anything to show for it. If I'd spent that much time doing something more productive like playing guitar, then I'd at least be pretty good at guitar by the end of it. But being good at games is pretty unimpressive to most people and isn't really transferable out of the game. I still intend to play games. Recently started Resident Evil 4, but with single player games there's no pressure to be locked into an ongoing match and I have more control over how much time I spend in it. Also, and in my opinion more importantly, I find these lifestyle kind of games have a negative effect on my mental state. Whilst I've never resorted to the casual racism that's rampant in these environments, I have found myself at least partially falling victim to the quick to anger and blame everyone that isn't me mentality. For example, in Overwatch, someone on the team always gets scapegoated for the entire team's failure, usually the DPS. I found that even out with games I had become more self-centered and had a shorter temper. So for those reasons I quit. I had quit before and came back, but after I came back I fell right back into the old mindset, so I think it's best that I just avoid them altogether. They ate up way too much of my time. I still love gaming, but I realized that sitting in front of a PC all day every day was making me fat, unhealthy, and miss out on so many of the things I should have been doing, both with responsibilities and also with life in general. I still jump in now and then for an hour or two occasionally, but the free time equals game time way of thinking had to come to an end and my life is better because of it. Very true about the free time equals game time. I felt like, when I was younger, hanging out equals playing video games, but now that's almost never the case. That's because we didn't have anything else to do. We'd play ping pong and then play video games all night. That's what we did, lol. We weren't partying yet. Maybe didn't have cars or money for gas. Maybe parents didn't want us out past a certain hour. In college we were waiting on the party to start, playing in between studying, etc. Once you are in adult life, there are literally hundreds of things you could be doing. That doesn't include sitting in your house. Takes a long time to realize that though, if you grew up with gaming as much as some of us did. Lost interest like many, because of viral demands, and wanting to do more with my time. Also got kinda creeped out by the whole gamer lifestyle, that has continued to worsen. But the biggest thing that made me put down the controller was, I felt like my entire life was anger. Listen to the news on the way to work, rage. Do my job, rage. Check social media, rage. News on the way home, somehow worse than the morning, rage. Play competitive video games into the night, rage. Everything was this constant anger cycle, and I had to make some pretty big changes all over my life to be happier. Play competitive video games into the night, rage. This is why I've had to steer myself away from competitive games. I used to play Rocket League and Overwatch a fair bit, but it got so tiring being angry during my free time. I've switched almost entirely to single player games, and if I do play something multiplayer online, it's very casually. I've also started playing from soft games which have conditioned me to not be so angry when I fail all the time. When failing becomes part of the experience, you get used to it. Having 800 other tasks to do a day. #GROWINGUPSUCKS. That sums up all my hobbies. 50+ year old here. Oddly enough, you get time back once you get a bit older. Kids take care of themselves, or are off to college / their own lives. You've hopefully got the career work/life balance settled by then. I'm playing Fallout 4 now. I finished BOTW a couple weeks ago. I played a silly amount of Let's Go Pikachu. I had a gap in my late 20s 40s while I was in career mode / more active, but things are settled now. You come back to it. Depression made me uninterested in gaming for a while. I wanted to play, and I'd sit down trying to get into a game, but I just couldn't bring myself to enjoy it. Yep, this right here. It's the #1 reason I can tell when I fall into a depression, when you don't even have the motivation to do something that would otherwise bring you enjoyment. I don't know if it's the same, but I have what I call ADHD-induced depression. It's when I want to do something, but every good idea I come up with seems uninteresting as soon as I try it. I learned everything you do is a sacrifice to something else. For example, if I played video games for 10 hours on a Sunday, that's get hours I could have used to accomplish or learn something. I like video games and still play them, but I don't want my greatest accomplishment in life 100%ing a game. I love playing guitar, learning languages, and reading far more. The official term is opportunity cost, the loss of potential gain from other alternatives when one alternative is chosen. You made an example in time investment. Play video game for 10 hours on Sunday, instead of using that 10 hours on something else. I'm proud of your enlightenment on the time management. Life is too short to learn and enjoy other productive tasks. I learned everything you do is a sacrifice to something else. For example, if I played video games for 10 hours on a Sunday, that's get hours I could have used to accomplish or learn something. When you get older, there's a growing list of shit that you have to do. And not just things that are day-to-day adulting. I hate that word. Tasks, but things that you need to do if you want to advance or improve in life. Sure, I'm still friends with a few people who spend every waking minute they are not at work, buried in video games. But I can't be one of them anymore. I'm still guilty of losing myself occasionally when I find a game I really like for a few weeks / month. Witcher 3, I'm looking your direction. But inevitably, I put it down and get back to business. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe.